all my examples up. Okay, so this is going to be our first example. Now, when you think about adding positive and negative numbers, you really need to think about, as one teacher put it, war. Okay, so what's really happening is I have two opposing teams. I have the adding team, and I have the positive team and the negative team, or positive warrior and the negative warrior. And what happens is when these fight, or when they're being put together, they kill each other. And that's what's happening every time. So let's look at it here. So I have 5 negative warriors, 3, 4, 5, and then I have 6 positive warriors. And we're going to put these guys together, and what's going to happen is they're going to zero each other out. So these two are going to kill each other, 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 then I'm left with one positive. So the answer is positive 1. Okay, and so what we could really do, instead of doing all this, we could really say 6 minus 5, which gives me 1. And since there's more positives than there are negatives, and so I just take the difference, means subtract, difference, and I give it the sign of the greater team, or the greater amount of warriors, or the positives or the negatives. So in this case, we have positives are the greater number. By how much? By 1. So they're going to win. Okay, so let's go over to see how that plays out in 2. So now we have more, so it's not really as efficient to write all the warriors out, even though you could do that. But it gets a little more difficult. I encourage you to stay away from that, because it gets a little bit more difficult whenever you get into bigger numbers or decimals. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say who's going to win. Who has the bigger army? Well, right now the negatives have the bigger army, so we know our answer is going to be negative. But how much? All 15 of these guys are going to die, but they're going to take out 15 of these negative guys. So really what I need to do is I need to say 26 minus 15 is really 11. So my answer is negative 11. I'm still going to have 11 negative soldiers standing. Okay. Now, what happens when you're adding 2 of the same army? Well, they just join forces. Okay. So here, instead of subtracting anything, if I have negative soldiers, and I'm going to add some more negative soldiers, of course, I'm going to have more negative soldiers. And so it's going to be negative 17. Okay, just add the numbers. You're just adding more of the same army. Okay, so let's try 4. What does that look like in the decimal setting? Well, you can still look at it the same way. So we have negative 2.5 plus 7.96. And we can automatically see who's going to win. We have the positives on this side, the negatives on this side. Whose army is bigger? Well, the positives are bigger. So we know our answer is going to be positive. You don't have to write the positive sign. I'm just doing that for you to know. But, 2.5 of these guys are going to kill 2.5 of these guys. So 2.5 is going to be taken out of this positive army. So that's what we need to do. We need to, having technical difficulties. We need to take out 2.5 of these. Now remember, when adding or subtracting decimals, what is going on here? When adding or subtracting decimals, we need to line up the decimals. Okay, so now just subtract. So we have 6, this is going to be 4, this is going to be 5, 5.46. So it's going to be 5 and 400ths is going to be our answer. Okay. Now, head off to number 5. Let's see what that looks like. Well, we have 21.4 negative people, and then we got 16.7 negatives. And so what we really need to do is we just like I positives, I would just add them. But now that they're negatives, they're both negatives, I'm just going to add to the same army, which are negative. So I'm going to take 21.4, and then let's see, I'm going to add that to 16.7. So now I have 11, 6, 7, 8, and 3. So 38.1. So it's going to be negative 38.1. All right. Now let's go to example 6. Ooh, now I threw in some fractions in there. So let's see what that looks like. So I have negative fraction and a negative fraction. And so what's going to happen here? Why do I have a 6 right there? Okay, hold on a second. All right, there, we're out of there. So I have a negative fraction and a negative fraction. So don't think of it as a fraction. First of all, let's get our answer here. So we have a negative, we have negative army, and we have another negative army. So we're just going to add them together. So we know our answer is going to be in negatives. So let's just add them together. So this is, rewrite it. I know when I'm adding fractions, I need to find a common denominator. So now this is going to be written as 2/4 plus 3/4. It's going to be equal to 5/4, which is 1 and 1/4. Okay, if you don't know how to do that, you need to go back to your fractions, the fractions videos. All right, now we are on number 7. So I have some positives here and I have some negatives here. Which one's bigger? Well, this is a fraction smaller than 1. Anything bigger than 7 will be greater. If 7 was in the numerator, that would be exactly 1, 7 over 7. So the positives outweigh the negatives. So my answer is going to be positive. And I need to subtract the 2 to see what the difference is going to be like. This 2/7 is going to take out some of this positive army, so I need to see how much. So 1 3/4. I'm going to do see you around Texas to create it into a improper fraction. So it's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be 7/4. And I am going to subtract that. Subtract. All right, there we go. Subtract. Let's see. Whoa. Okay. I'm going to subtract 2/7. We're going to figure out what that is. So these are both going to go to 72, 21, 28. So 28, so it's going to be times 7. It's going to be 49. And it's going to be times 4. So it's going to be 28. And this is going to be 8. And so I need to figure out what this is. 49 minus 8 is 41 over 28. So you can say 41 over 28, or you can also turn it into a mixed number. So we have to figure out how many 28s go into 41. Well, I know it's how many is going to be left over? 41. So let's do this. 41 over 28. Well, I know 28 plus 28 to get times 2 would be 16. This will be 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So there'll be 56. That'd be too much. So I know it goes into a one time. minus 28 is 11, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 3. It's going to be 1. So 13 left over. So it's going to be 13 28ths. 13 is a prime number, so I can't reduce that. So 1 and 13 28ths. Okay. So we're going to go to number 8. So far, I think these are pretty easy. Get a little hard with the fractions, but that's why we're going over it. So I have 7/3. Ooh, so that's our positives, and these are our negatives. Improper fraction here. That means that this is greater than, and it's not a mixed number, and then we have a mixed number. So we don't really know who is bigger just by looking off of it, but we can figure that out. How about we turn them both into an improper fraction and then set them both to the same denominator. So see you around Texas. So this is going to be 7/3. We know that. And we're adding some negatives here. That's going to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13 ninths. Well, we still can't tell because the denominator is not the same. And so I need to multiply this times 3. That way I can